Hello, friends. Welcome to Wings Unlimited, our showcase commemorating, International Day of Persons with Abilities, as we would like to, call it. We are so lucky today to have Caitlin McIntyre from the National Federation of the Blind join us. She's going to speak to us a little bit about her journey, a little introduction about Caitlin. Caitlin, as a blind vocalist and speaker, enjoys sharing her inspirational life story and dynamic music, which spans many genres with all audiences. Studying with Maria Spagagna, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, for her Master of Music in Vocal Performance at Carnegie Mellon University, she premiered the opera Cold Hands with CMU and Pittsburgh Opera, soloed with the Ames Festival Orchestra around Austria, and covered the soprano solos of Mozart's Requiem with Maestro Manfred Honeck, is that right?
Yes.
And the Carnegie Mellon Philharmonic. She has performed numerous operatic and musical roles, including the Countess in Le Naz de Fargo, Beth in Little Women, Monica in The Medium, and the narrator in Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. As a featured soprano soloist, she's performed at notable venues such as the Tokyo Billboard Live, Japan sponsored by Fox International, and to name a few. Caitlin's bio actually is so impressive. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do justice to your very impressive bio, Caitlin. But what I want to quickly say is, I want Caitlin to speak a little bit more about her musical journey. But in addition to being a splendid musician, she is also a very inspiring leader. She serves as the president of the National Federation of the Blind Performing Arts Division, and she's thrilled to continue raising expectations and increasing opportunities for all blind performers. And Artabilities for All is extremely honored and thrilled to collaborate with the NFB for this event, and they've supported us since the last year. Very thankful to have you, Caitlin. Very warm welcome. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me. It's a delight to be here. I am doing wonderfully. That is a very kind introduction. So thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Caitlin. I wanted to tell our audience, we've been collaborating, over the last year. We've had Rachel Greider, the vice president also of the NFB, and, we've been interacting with you, Caitlin. What an amazing group of, inspiring artists, and you are an inspiration. Please, if you don't mind, could you share a little bit about your journey musically and otherwise, so we can learn a little bit more about you.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so I have been musically involved since I was very little. Ever since I can remember, I've been singing. I used to want to sing song after song after song to my family until they got sick of it, but I just wanted to keep going. So I always had a performing spirit within me and wanted to share music with others. And I grew up in a very musical family. We used to sing together as a family, as the McIntyre family singers. And
Yeah.
yes, that was where we performed at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. And so I just had wonderful experiences growing up. I studied classically for many years, and I was raised with wonderful parents who really encouraged me that my blindness did not need to be an obstacle in my path. It didn't need to be something that held me back from achieving my dreams and reaching my goals. So whether that was learning to horseback ride or running on the beach and not being afraid of, what I was going to experience in my path, they encouraged me to try it, to try new things, to spread my wings, if you will, right? This is Wings Unlimited. So
Amazing.
yes, yeah, to try new things. And so that philosophy stayed with me has stayed with me through my whole life. And I did pursue music in college. I have a bachelor's and master's, both in music and vocal performance, which means that I studied opera and art song, lots of classical music, which I love. I also sing a lot of jazz, love jazz standards. And yes, all those wonderful, wonderful things from singers like Ella Fitzgerald and Sarah Vaughan and some other styles as well, and play a little piano and guitar. And one of my joys actually now, especially during the pandemic, has been to teach other students
Yeah.
virtual lessons, voice, piano, guitar, and which is great to be able to pass
Wow.
on what I've learned and share it with others. So yeah, so Carnegie Mellon was an excellent place to receive my master's degree. I had
Mhm.
some wonderful opportunities to perform there and premiere an opera. And, I was blessed to work with a lot of people who didn't put limitations on what I could do, because often in the arts space, we may have a lot of talented artists with disabilities, but sometimes we're not provided the opportunities
Right.
by others who don't think that people with disabilities have the same capabilities as others. So I was
Right.
grateful to work with a phenomenal director for one of my operas who just
Okay.
didn't put limitations on, had no boundaries for raising expectations for me and what I could do, which helped me have the confidence to say yes.
Mhm, mhm.
I can perform right along with my sighted peers. And that's no problem at all. So, love to perform, love to share music. I'm also a competitive ballroom dancer, which has been a
Wow.
joy. Yes, so I started that during college as well. It's actually how I met my husband, which is a fun story.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's also an exciting space to enter, because often blind people are told, we can't dance. You shouldn't dance. People are going to
Mhm,
laugh at you, or
mhm,
whatever it may
mhm.
be. And honestly, dancing is for everyone. And especially if you're taking a beginner class, you're going to be right along there with all the other beginners. So have no fear. You can learn with everyone. And there are a lot of great adaptive techniques you can use, hands-on
Right.
education and things like that. So I love dancing, love acting, love singing. And then with the National Federation of the Blind Performing Arts Division, I've been involved for about 7 years now with their Performing Arts Division board. And it was such a delight to join that organization, because I had grown up hearing the philosophy that blindness is not, the characteristic that need define me.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
growing up with that, it was so exciting to find a whole group of like-minded people who, were raising expectations for the blind, and were telling us that we do not need to have barriers. Our blindness is not a barrier to stop us from achieving our dreams. And so to be encouraged and motivated and empowered by many other people standing alongside me has been such a joy and such a delight. And then
Yeah.
again, to give that back to others, to serve as a mentor, if you will, or
Yeah.
someone who I can say to others, your blindness does not need to be a defining characteristic in your life. There are lots of ways to adapt things and use alternative techniques. So don't be afraid to give it a try. And the wonderful thing about the National Federation of the Blind as well is that it is a large group of people. So if you're thinking, oh, has someone done belly dancing before? Has someone done aerial
Mhm.
silks before? Well, yes, I know people in
Wow.
our division who have done both of those things, So there's probably someone you can talk with. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can share
Yeah.
strategies, share
Mhm,
ideas. That's
mhm,
one thing we
mhm.
love doing, is connecting people and being a resource to help people, thrive in whatever their performing art is. So I just love the work we do. I'm so blessed to be president, have an excellent board
Mhm.
alongside me. And we'd love for you to connect with us if you are a performing artist who is blind, or a sighted ally, or if you're just interested in music or dance or acting.
Right.
Please check us out. We'd love to have you come with us. Our website is nfb-pad.org. So National Federation of the Blind Performing Arts Division, nfb-pad.org. And you can find us on Facebook,
Mhm.
National Federation of the Blind Performing Arts Division, Twitter, NFB_PAD. And we also have a podcast we've been starting about a year ago called Scene
Mhm.
Change.
Very
And we have a
nice.
lot of great topics on there that discuss, ballet as a blind person, maybe being a string player,
Yeah.
got one coming out on hip hop coming up soon. So all kinds of topics. And, if you want to get involved, if you have ideas for programming you'd like to see, let us know, because we, again, want to be a
Yeah.
resource to raise expectations for blind people, both within and without of our community.
This is so fabulous, Caitlin. Just listening to what you were saying, like, why would anyone not want to be a part of this and support the program? I'm like, as you're saying things, I'm like thinking, oh my God, like, I should get involved in this and that, like
Yeah.
the ballet, the dance, you know, um, that kind of really struck me because, I think I was mentioning to Rachel and also you, we've kind of launched this initiative called Danceability for Fitness for All. And so the idea being, there's a couple of our friends who are like certified Zumba instructors and, BolyX, certified instructors who wanted to create a program for dance fitness, if you will. So for the folks who are not completely into sports or completely into dance, but are more comfortable sort of dancing in their own space without having to perform, like without that kind of pressure, we started this program. And we would love to learn a little bit more about, is there any way we could, interact with you guys on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing I love about dance is, I'm more in the ballroom space, but all kinds of dance. It is such a combination of both art
Right.
and sport, and in
Sports.
fact, ballroom is called dance sport. And so it's got
Right,
this,
right.
this combination. You have the creativity and the artistic element, and then you also have the exercise and the fitness. And it's such a great way to stay in shape,
Absolutely.
especially in those winter months, if you're in a cold climate. And it's a wonderful way to keep moving and meet other people and just, enjoy expressing yourself. So absolutely, we should definitely continue to collaborate on that.
Yeah, I absolutely love that idea. We should definitely talk about this. I know we're going to have a few performances from some of the artists from the NFB, right now for this event, including, Caitlin. And like Caitlin was saying, she's from a musical family. And, for folks who are not aware, her brother is also a very eminent singer, Scott McIntyre, right? I actually remember seeing his performances on the American Idol. He was the finalist, wasn't he? And he was an excellent singer. And for me, it was kind of surreal to connect with you and then discover, so it's just fabulous, guys. I mean, for whoever's tuned in, speaking to Caitlin is, it's so amazing. Like, I feel energized every time I speak with you, Caitlin.
Thank you. Well, you're doing some wonderful work as well, Ranjini. Excellent to, be in this space with you and collaborate with you. And it's so important that we continue to work together and continue, collaborating, because it's such an exciting way to provide opportunity and equality for blind performers. And your organization branches into other disciplines as well, which is wonderful. So it's great. Yeah.
So, if you don't mind me asking you, Caitlin, so when we were talking about the opportunities, right, for the benefit of folks, or organizations that are tuning in, in your opinion, how do you think, organizations can give rise to inclusive opportunities, by default, right? Like, and we've been trying to say this through Artabilities and SciArt Service, but anything you could share with us so folks who are tuning in can figure out how to always have their programs be inclusive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, first thing that comes to mind is talk to the group, whom you're trying to include. So whether that's trying to include blind people or deaf people or wheelchair users or whatever, whatever it is, talk to that group and hear their perspectives instead of just saying, oh, I think blind people would benefit from this. Oftentimes maybe a piece of technology is created. Oh, look at this wonderful thing. That's going to really help the blind. Well, did you actually, check it with blind consumers to see if that's helpful? So talk to the participants, talk to the group that you actually want to serve, which is, first of all, wonderful that you want to be inclusive. That's the first step, right? Is that awareness of desire to include and to integrate and to provide equality for all. So that's the first thing is having that awareness and that desire, which is excellent. And then, talk to the group, whom you're trying to serve. And, because also not every blind person is the same. Some people may benefit from one accommodation and someone else may benefit from something else. And that's important to know too, and sometimes, so often I've been in especially a college setting or classroom setting where someone says, usually it's, you're the first blind person I've had, but then sometimes it's, I had this other blind student 6 years ago and she did everything this way. So is that how you do it too? And I'm like, well, actually, no, maybe she had more vision than I did, or one person was a Braille user and one person used screen readers. So there's lots of different ways. So talk to the people. Definitely, being communicative is always a good thing. If you don't know how to include as well, that's okay. But be be upfront about that and say, hey, I've never really done this before, but how can I help you benefit from this program? If you're a
Right,
dance
right.
instructor, say,
Mhm.
hey, it's okay if you say, I haven't had a blind student before, a deaf student or whatever it may be, but how can I accommodate you? What do you
Right.
need from me? Rather than assuming what may be the best option, always ask, how can I help? What do you need from me? Is there anything you need from me? So, and then, yeah, just depending on the program, something that jumps to mind kind of in my specific realm is if I'm auditioning for an opera or uh,
Mhm.
a musical or a play or something like that. I need that script ahead of time in an accessible
Right,
format. So be willing
right,
to maybe, the rules, your typical rules where you say, oh, you only come and you do a cold read. Well, you're going to need
yeah,
that script. Maybe someone needs it in Braille. Maybe someone needs to memorize
right,
it. Maybe someone needs it in large print. So be willing to be a little flexible with how you
right.
provide your materials.
Mhm, mhm.
Generally providing Braille or large print programs. Those are excellent things. Audio description is a wonderful thing for
Correct.
performances.
Mhm.
Yeah, whether it's a dance, it's a ballet or a dance performance or an opera or a musical, audio description is excellent.
Right.
And so all kinds of things you can dabble in. Sometimes offering a special assistant if someone's in a dance class, maybe offering to pair them up with someone who's a little bit more advanced so they can learn from that person one-on-one and not be
Right.
so intimidated if it's a large group. So, lots of options out there. But again, ask the person, whom you're trying to serve, how can I help you? What do you need from me?
Right. No, I think this is really useful information, Caitlin. And I think one of the things over here, we're in Thousand Oaks here in California, between, Thousand Oaks and the city of Simi Valley,
Mhm.
our cities have been encouraging us to host live events, now that things are opening
Mhm.
up. And, and I so badly want to host one of these inclusive events live. And I was talking to you and, Rachel and other folks. And, hopefully in the future, sometime we can actually do this. And
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's an area that's generally missing in many places, like organizations where, consciously curating these programs. And I think that's an area I'd love to, talk to you more and get your feedback as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Is there anything you would like to mention, Caitlin, in terms of, to artists, and I like to refer to the artists with different abilities, right? I mean, so it
Mhm.
encompasses artists of all abilities. What would you like to say to them, as far as pursuing the opportunities? Any of the challenges that you think you've faced that you've overcome? Is there something you would like to say to them?
Yeah, well, first of all, don't be discouraged. It's really easy, even if you don't have a disability in this art space, to be discouraged because it is such it's a very subjective field, and maybe you get turned down. You're trying to present a piece of art or a performance or a recording or all kinds of things, and you're just not getting anywhere. And that happens. First of all,
Yeah,
that happens to everybody. So the art
great.
space is a very difficult space. So don't be discouraged. But then it is a challenge as someone with a disability, without a disability, no matter what it is a challenge. But that disability adds an extra layer where,
Correct.
unfortunately, there is still a lot of bias. There is still a lot of
Great.
um, uninclusion in the entertainment industry or whatever it may be. And
Mm-hmm.
so, if this is something you really want to do, then just take that passion and go for it. Don't let the naysayers turn you away, because there will
Right.
be many. And unfortunately, that's where we are right now. But if you have something to say, if you have a gift to share, a talent to share, a passion to share art or music or dance or whatever it is, don't let those who discourage you, turn you away from pursuing that passion. And be creative in this world. This whole virtual space now that we're in has really
Mm-hmm.
opened up a lot of opportunity.
Correct.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, where and obviously, hopefully we're going to go back into some sort of hybrid experience where we will do
Correct.
things in person again. But this virtual space now is such a unique opportunity that wasn't really here as broadly a couple years ago. And so utilize that, whether it's putting up your own concert or your own art exhibit, even virtually in some way.
Right.
You
Mm-hmm.
can do that with the power of the internet, and and gathering people to help, promote that and market that. So there's a lot of interesting new opportunities. Look into those. You may need to do things a different way than you initially try. Be creative. Don't be afraid of new ideas, new opportunities, new venues for doing things, and then find a support system around you, because especially as if you are someone with a disability, as a blind person, I am often the only blind person in this opera company or in this dance class or whatever it may be. And so and that's great, I'm happy to do that, but it's also so empowering to have people who are sharing your struggles, sharing your challenges. So find those people who can bolster you, who can cheer you on when it is a tough time, and also who you can share ideas with, because giving back, when I am able to share things with others, it reminds me of certain things. I'm empowered. I'm excited to keep going. And so that giving and receiving is so important from others. And that's, one thing we love in the National Federation of the Blind Performing Arts Division, is really being a network, a support system, an encouragement to blind performers, a resource. And we also do want to educate the public on the capabilities of the blind as well. But, we are here for each other. So find that community with whom you can share those struggles and those ideas and those challenges and those victories as well, because there will be victories.
Absolutely. What an energizing and empowering conversation with you, Caitlin. Also, failed to mention to our audience that Caitlin's also been recognized by Mayor Mashburn from the city of Simi Valley, where we gave the recognition on our inaugural day. So she is, like Caitlin was mentioning, not just an artist, she's also a mentor. She's mentoring so many different artists and providing opportunities to them as well. And, that's been recognized by everyone. And, on so many levels, you're an inspiration, Caitlin, to me as well. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. That is such an honor. And I'm just so grateful to, share with you all. Thank you all for listening tonight. And whatever time you're listening to this, thank you for being here and supporting these artists, and continuing to raise expectations for people of all abilities, and continuing to bring equality and opportunity to everyone in this wonderful world.
Thanks again, Caitlin, for joining us, and all the support you've given us so far, sharing your thoughts. And audience, please stay tuned. You're going to be premiering some fabulous performances by Caitlin and several other artists from the NFB. So stay tuned, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Sai Arts Are Us and Artabilities. Facebook page as well, and support us with this event, Wings Unlimited, and support us with the other artists as well from the United States and all other parts of the world. Once again, Caitlin, thanks again. I hope to see you sometime soon in person, and maybe for a live performance as well.
Absolutely, you as well. And for anyone who would like to connect with me, please feel free to reach over to me at my website. It's KaitlinMac.com, KaTelynMac.com. So you can, email me there and find me on social media and all that good stuff. And we'd love to have you a part of our Performing Arts Division as well. So thank you, Ranjini. You're doing some wonderful work.
Thank you, Caitlin. See you again sometime soon. And
thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
First Noel, the angel did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay.
In fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born is the King of Israel.
They looked up and they saw a star shining in the east beyond them far.
And to the earth it gave great light, so it continued both day and night. Go well, go well, go well, go well. Born is the King of Israel.
Born is the King, born is the King of Israel. Born is the King of Born is the King. Born is the King. Born is the King of Born is the King of
Well, what a blessing. Thank you, Todd and Caitlin. Blessings on you guys. It's really great to have you with us here tonight.
Rejoice, rejoice, rejoice greatly. Rejoice. chains shall he break, for the slave is our brother, and in his name all oppression shall cease. Sweet hymns of joy in grateful chorus raise we, that all within us praise his holy name. Christ is the Lord. Oh, praise his name forever. His power and glory evermore proclaim. His power and glory evermore proclaim. By night divine, oh, night, holy night.
I wanted love, I needed love most of all, most of all. Someone said true love was dead. I'm bound to fall, bound to fall for you. What can I do? Take my badge, but my heart remains loving you, baby child. Tighten up all your reins, you're running wild, running wild. Yeah, it's true, yeah. Sick for days in so many ways. I'm aching now, aching now. It's times like these I need relief. Please show me how, show me how to get it right. It's out of sight. When I was young and moving fast, nothing slowed me down. No, slowed me down. Well, now I let the others pass. Well, I've come around. You know, I've come around, 'cause I found oh. Living just to keep going, going just to be sane. All the while not knowing it's such a shame when I don't need to get steady. I know just how I feel. Time for you to be ready, my dear.
And Scotty is in a band called the New Frantics that often plays down here at Armando's. And one of my dearest friends.
Well, we're really glad to be a part of this great event. What a great event, huh? Well done, Joyceton, Tosha, Roy, everybody here pitching in on the effort. It's a great thing to be a part of such a community strong event for something so worthy. Supporting music and the arts, we could all do more of it. Lord knows our society, we're counting on it, baby. Enough of this talking, let's get to playing. What do you think, Che? Chayla, what do you think? It's Happy Jazz Appreciation Month, she said. All right, we're going to do a song that I wrote, and I wrote this last fall, and it was inspired by Chela, and it's called You Got This.
All right. Go Chela. Go Scotty.
Yes. Chocolate afterwards sounds good. Is there dark sea salt in the house? If there's got dark sea salt chocolate, CB, I think you got another order up for CB's kitchen. Here we go.
Strength in you, you just choose to pass, remain a lonely recluse for the rest of the day. That you lie to yourself, you cannot lose faith, but you gotta know it's temporary. In time with bliss, you got this. When you're late to appointment and you can't find your way there, everyone around you seems hectic. Nobody seems to care. When you're wondering what's it gonna take to get away from this despair, that's when you gotta settle that bliss. 'Cause hey, you got this. Straight to the core and you feel there's no one everybody seems to ignore. That's when you gotta reach down deep inside. This is yours, don't worry, remember miss, hey, you got this. Anything you want to say while we're switching for a second?
Chocolate. Chocolate.
Anything you want to do? Anything besides chocolate?
Thanks for that steak coffee.
Just for the record, I did not get her decaf or caffeinated. I got her decaf. So everything's regulated.
clapping would have been a boo moment. Now she'd be like, hey, wait a minute. All right.
chocolate.
a little smooth.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Rose, and this is my band. Let me introduce everybody. We have Soren Andrade on guitar, Steve Walsh on bass, and Robert Montgomery on drums. We're going to do a couple of original songs for you today. All right, so being from New Orleans, we have a lot of hurricanes, therefore a lot of hurricane parties. So this is a hurricane party song. We call this one Broken Open. This next song is a quarantine classic. It's called Crossroads, and it's about being at a certain point in your life and trying to decide what you're going to do and how you're going to get there. So, hope you enjoyed this next tune.
Wish I could act like I didn't know, but that would be a lie, 'cause I do. So I'm hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. I'm not afraid to fail or succeed. At least I live my life how I believe. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. I'm trying to decide which way to go, but if I never try, then I'll never know. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. Should I stay straight or make a turn? And will a bridge I cannot cross be the one of words? So much to learn. I left my home to be left alone, 'cause I got better things to do than to not belong. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. But my faith in God to guide me now. I know I'll make it through some way, somehow. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. And my way singing out there, this old get to the top someday. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad. Should I stay straight or make a turn? And will a bridge I cannot cross be the one of words? So much to learn. As I close my eyes, I feel like I can fly. I'm just soaring right through my life. Yeah. I know I should be grateful for every day. It seems I'm only stranded till I find my way. Hitchhiking on the side of the road. No, I'm not afraid to fail or succeed. I do what it takes, crack, sweat, and bleed. Hitchhiking on the side of the road. I can act like I didn't know, but I would be like as I do now. Hitchhiking on the side of the crossroad, on the side of the crossroad. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy the Amanda Rose Band and enjoy the rest of your show.
A sad sound, a lonely sound. I want to take her in my arms, and then I dry away all her tears. I see a boy who's frightened, a young boy with old eyes. roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. Tiny tots with their eyes all aglow will find it hard to sleep tonight. They know that Santa's on his way. He's loaded lots of toys and goodies on his sleigh, and every mother's child is gonna spy to see if reindeer really know how to fly. And so I'm offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you. And every mother's child is gonna spy to see if rain beautiful child, all aglow in the candlelight. See how he sleeps in a poor manger bed. Beautiful child, how the heavens adorn him. Starlight of silver and halo of gold round his head. Gloria, Gloria, angels on high are singing. Oh, Gloria, let earth in reply sing. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. In the dark of the night, born is the light of the world. Beautiful child, in the arms of his mother, come see how his radiance shines in her face. Beautiful child, who dispels all our darkness, bright in his glory, a light with his Father's own grace. Gloria, Gloria, angels on high are singing. Oh, Gloria, let earth in reply sing. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. In the dark of the night, born is the light of the world. Gloria, Gloria, angels on high are singing. Oh, Gloria, let earth in reply sing. Gloria, Gloria, in excelsis Deo. In the dark of the night, born is the light of the
Hi, everyone. This is Kelly Coleman from Nebraska. I'm in North America, and Ranjani was nice enough. She wanted me to display my crochet. I'm blind, and I crochet and paint as a hobby. So I decided I would show you guys how to make this little baby hat. It's a size for a newborn, and it's very customizable to make for 3 to 6 months, small child, adolescent, adult, large sizes, whatever you need. So this is our little sample. As you can see, there are bumps on the top, which are very cool. That's if you wanted to, this pattern was originally a pumpkin, so you could add a stem and a leaf. I don't have the yarn right now to do that, so this is just the hat. So I'm using a J or a 5.75 millimeter crochet hook. Could be metal, you could use any kind of hook, and you can use different hook sizes. It just depends on what kind of yarn you're using. I'm using any kind of, this is just scrap red yarn, Super Saver, great value, nothing fancy yarn. You could do as fancy or as non-fancy as you want to. So What I'm gonna do to begin, and I'm just gonna show you a little bit because after the first couple of rounds, it's a repeat until you get the size that you want. So it's super simple. So the first thing you do with any crochet project is make a slip knot. And there are several different ways to do this. What I do is I take my index finger on my right hand and point it to my left, point it in front. Wrap the yarn twice around my index finger. The yarn facing the palm of my hand, I'm going to lift over the yarn on towards the nail of my finger. Then I'm going to take the yarn that was lifted over and lift that off my finger so that I am left with a little slip knot, a little knot. I'm going to take my hook, insert it into the loop, and pull tight around the hook. Now there are several different ways. That's how I do it. I'd be happy to show you again if you need it. So we're going to wrap the yarn twice and hold. Lift one loop over to my fingernail. Lift the other loop over that first one and off to create a loop, slip knot, excuse me. So then I'm going to insert my hook and pull tight. So to start this hat, when you're crocheting, the way to hold the yarn, the working yarn, is you're going to put the yarn over your pinky finger, underneath your ring and middle fingers, and then over your index finger. So this is how you want your yarn to be looking. Your thumb and middle finger are going to hold the yarn, and your index is going to determine the tension. So I don't know if you can see how tight my yarn is in between the hook and my finger, but if it's too tight, you're not going to be able to do any work, and if it's too loose, your work's not going to be looking good either. So you want a consistent tension throughout. So the first thing we're going to do are chains. There's only one stitch in this pattern. It's called the single crochet stitch, or the double if you're not in the US. I don't know why we have different terminology, but I call it the single crochet. So that we're gonna chain, which is what you would do for any project. So we're gonna take the yarn, put it over our hook, and using that hook, we're gonna grab the yarn and pull through the knot. We're only gonna do that one more time. We're gonna yarn over and pull through the loop. So we have 2 chains. Hopefully you can see that. We have two little chains. Then we're going to take the yarn and we're going to single crochet in that first chain that we made. And if you want to chain 3, you can, and you can pull this loop on the hook. You can pull it loose for now if you need to. So we're going to go into that chain, and this can be a little fiddly to begin with. We're going to go in, so we have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through, see, I'm struggling. Yarn over, pull through 1 loop. Why are you not behaving? Hang on. Sometimes the yarn does not like me. So we're going to go into that loop. So we have 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through. Oh God, come on, get in there. Why are we, sorry guys, this yarn is not cooperating. Hang on. Good thing about crochet is you can just pull everything apart. And this is why I say you can chain 3 if you need more room, because sometimes this can get a little finicky. So I'm going to chain a couple. That's not going to matter. So I have a little bit more to play with. So I'm going to go into that first chain, push my hook in. We have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 1. So we have 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to do that 10 times. So that's our first single crochet. So again, we're going to go in to that same first crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So now we have 2. Do that again, yarn over, and pull up and pull. So if you can see there, we have 3 separate stitches, 1, 2, and 3. So do that 10 times. This is going to be the hat, the part of your hat that's going to go around the head. Don't yarn over first. Go in to the loop, pull through, 4. And if you want to, you can go over this tail so that you don't have to weave it in later. 5, go in, pull up the loop, 6, 7, 8. I'm gonna get a little closer to the camera, I apologize. So go in, pull through, 9, and I caught my tail there, but that's okay. Last one, 10. Now, this particular project, we are not going to stitch it together at the end of each round. We're just gonna keep going. So if you need to, and there's a little pulling at my tail because I caught it by accident, but I can cut that off later. So if you need to mark this next stitch to show you where you are, you can. I just count because I don't mind not having a marker, but any kind of stitch marker will do. Well, of course, now I can't find it. Nope. Anyway, any kind of stitch marker would do. You could use a bobby pin, a paper clip, whatever you need. So I'm going to now, since we have 10 single crochets, I'm going to go into this first one that we started with. And now we're going to do 2 single crochets in each. So we're going to end up having 20 stitches. So we're going to do 1, and then we're going to go back into the same stitch down here, and you can feel the little opening between the bumps. So we're going to go back in, same stitch, pull through. So that's 2 in 1 stitch. So we're going to go into the next one, put it into the stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1, 2. I have 4 stitches. 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry if my fingers are blocking, I apologize. 9, 10. I use my fingers to feel where I am. 11, 12, whoops. And again, you want to keep consistent tension throughout your project so that your stitches remain the same. Let's see. 15, I believe. We can always count at the end. 16, 17. And this last stitch, we're going to put 2. So we now have 20. And if you want to count, what you're going to do is count. You don't want to count the posts, the little posts here. There, if you see, there's a little square right here. That's what you want to count. So 1, 2, in between the posts, 3, 4, etc. So now this is going to be our last increase round. This is the last time you're going to have to count. So what we're going to do is the exact same thing we did. We're going to put 2 stitches in each. So we're going to end up with 40 stitches. So again, we're not going to stitch anything together. We're just going to go into this next stitch, do the same thing we did. 1, and 2. And again, if you want to mark this first stitch, you can. 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Speed it up a little bit. 16. 18, running out of yarn. Excuse me just one second. Okay. And 40. Now you're gonna look at that and you're gonna go, that does not look like a hat at all. This doesn't look, what are you doing? This is exactly how it's supposed to look. The reason it bumps like that, as I said in the beginning, is because if we were making this into a pumpkin, I would put the stem right at the top here and it would have the front bumps. But I mean, you can, I don't, but you can. Now from here on out, we're gonna put one stitch around. We're gonna put one stitch in each stitch. You're gonna stick with 40 stitches throughout the project. And you would do this repeat, and eventually it's going to make this shape. It's gonna make a dome because you're not increasing. You're gonna stick with 40 throughout the entire thing. And you're gonna do this for 25 rounds. Round and around and around, round and around 25 times, or until your hat measures across. If I were to lay this flat, it would measure about 9 inches across, or 25 rounds. Now, if you wanted to make this for a toddler or up, you would make the increase, you'd have more increased rounds to make it a larger hat. This is pretty good for baby, you know, you don't want squishy heads for the baby. So 25 rounds. Once you hit 25, you're going to stop, cut your yarn, and we'll pretend like this is the end of my project. So we call this fastening off. So if I were done with this project, say, I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna just pull this yarn to show you, I can fix it later. So if I'm done with my project, I'm going to go ahead and I'm gonna loop, or I'm gonna yarn over just like we did with the chaining. And I'm just gonna pull the yarn all the way through the ending loop and pull tight. So you're gonna end with a knot. And you can cut your ends and or sew them in if you choose. But that is the baby hat. Super simple, single crochet only, and just the increased rounds until you have 40 stitches. So that is what I have for the crochet.
Welcome, friends, to another session on Art Abilities for All as part of Wings Unlimited, our flagship event commemorating the International Day for Disabled Persons, although, we would like to refer to it as International Day of Able Persons. We are very, very happy and honored to have Shelly Ann Sidhu, a fabulous and eminent artist from Toronto, Canada. A little introduction to Shelly. Shelly Ann Sidhu is an award-winning, visually impaired, self-taught artist from Toronto, Canada. And she is not just an artist, but she's also a motivational speaker. After losing her eyesight from an accident at her workplace, Shelly Ann wanted to fill her space with bright, vibrant colors because all she could have seen was completely darkness. And that's how her journey of painting started. At first, she used painting as a form of therapy, but later discovered it was her passion. Shelly Ann also spent countless hours learning and perfecting her skills because she only started painting after her accident. Shelly Ann displays her artwork during her keynote because it gives her audience a tangible object to know that no matter whatever their circumstances may be, everything is possible once you see your heart and mind too. As a motivational speaker, Shelly Ann has spoken about her artwork on global platforms like TEDx. She was also featured in the movie Unsinkable and shared the stage with many high-profile speakers. And despite what has happened to Shelly Ann, she has chosen to live life to the fullest. Shelly Ann, very, very warm welcome to you on Wings Unlimited and Art Abilities. What an honor to have you, and it's so, so kind of you to accept our invitation and be a part of this showcase. I want to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much. And it's honestly an honor and privilege to be here today because what you're doing with your platform, it's truly a blessing. And to bring awareness that even a person with a disability, but I like to say ability, what we are doing, it's notice that, okay, yeah, you can see that I'm visually impaired. I have my glasses and you can see me walking with my cane, but that's visual. But each person, each one of us, we do have our own limitations. And what you're doing here, you're breaking boundaries through art. And art has not been showcased as much that as we would like it because art is not, without art, we would not have a bright, beautiful world. Right. So thank you so much for all that you're doing and bringing this platform where others like myself, who do have limited abilities, that we could actually share our journey in hopes to inspire others.
Thank you, Shelly Ann. I couldn't be more thankful for you for doing this because I know, you're busy every single day with many different interviews and many different showcases, and everyone is, wanting to get some time with you. And it's such an honor, friends, that we have Shelly Ann with us today. And she's been so kind, to not only speak to us a little bit about her journey, but she's also going to show us, how she paints. And it's really, truly a blessing for us to have you. And you're such a positive spirit, Shelly Ann. Every time I see your paintings online, when I speak with you, even through the phone, the positivity radiates. And that's exactly what we need these days. And thanks a lot once again. And without further ado, I want to, turn it over to you, Shelly Ann, to share anything you would like to share with us, your painting, your journey, any thoughts. It's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before you can see my painting, I have to tell you about how it all came about, right? Right. So just imagine for a second, at the tender age of 24, living life to the fullest, working at your dream job, having your friends, and actually engaged to get married soon, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was just living life to the fullest, and you name it, I had it. And I was privileged enough to have an amazing childhood as well, growing up and teenage life. So everything was just perfect in my little world. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, on April 7, 2008, while working in a lab, I got severely burnt on my face, neck, chest, arms, and hands. Keep in mind, at the time, I was wearing protective gear, so it just burned through everything. Okay. And as a result, I gradually lost my eyesight within that summer. I went to 19 different doctors, all of them telling me, Shelly, there's nothing that I could do to save your eyesight.
Right.
mind, I said eyesight and not vision because I always believed that we have something greater in our life to do, right? And so I remember this particular morning at the end of summer, I wake up one morning, I was in complete darkness. But before that, while I was losing my eyesight, I had the Canadian National Institute for the Blind come in at home, and they showed me how to move around stuff and how I could live life then by getting around, like how to speak to someone so I don't look like I'm just listening and I look awkward, right?
Right.
Taught me how to speak to people as well too, and they came in and they showed me how to how to know different clothes, the colors, and everything like that. So while losing my eyesight, I also learned how to prepare myself if the inevitable happened, right? And during that time as well, I had amazing, great friends who would support me every single week. And even when a little kid, they came, like when just a few months old baby, they came every weekend to make sure that I was okay. We went to shows, shopping, we went to the parks, we went to the beaches, name it, whatever I wanted to do that summer, we did it and beyond, right? I remember waking up, so I had that circle of light with me.
Right.
And that's important when you're going through a difficult time. Right. Also, I was preparing as well too. That in case of this happened, I am not going to be lost.
Right.
I still had a little partial vision through the blurriness and everything, so I still prepared myself.
Okay.
So I remember at the end of late summer, I woke up one morning, and how I knew it was I lost my eyesight was I woke up and then I opened and closed my eyes, and it was just completely dark. So me, I thought to myself, it was just that it was night.
Yeah.
I didn't know at that time that I lost my eyesight because the day before I could still see a little bit, right?
Right.
And then I opened the curtain. I just remember feeling this rays of light just hitting my face. At that moment, I know that I lost my eyesight completely. And I remember just tumbling down, like just trying to navigate my way back to the bed, and I hit the alarm clock, I hit the glass of water down, and I just remember going and lying down in my bed, and I just started to cry on my pillow. And at that moment, it felt like eternity at that time. Like I was just crying and crying because I was only 24, and I said if I have to live until 80, I still have most of my life ahead of me, right? So what am I going to do? I lost my independence, I lost my dream job, I lost family, friends, and so much other people around. Like I couldn't be the person that I was, right? Right. And I just remember just thinking about all these things and just letting myself go through those moments. And I remember I just turned over in the pillow and it was drenched with tears.
Wow.
And I remember in that moment, I had to make a choice on how I was going to live the rest of my life.
Right.
And you have those defining moments.
Yeah.
And it's, in Greek, they call it the kairos moment. Like it's the moment within a moment where everything changed.
Right.
So in that moment, I decided to walk in faith and not by sight. Because I didn't have my eyesight, but to trust in God. For me, it's God. Or for whoever you may trust in the higher power that, you know what, everything will be well. And since then, honestly, I've just trusted everything that whatever happens is happening for a reason.
Right.
And where there's limitations, I made modifications and I continued with my life. I have since gotten married, had a child, and established a wonderful career through the medium of art, as you mentioned, and as a motivational speaker.
Amazing.
Art came about was about a year later after my accident. I was on a phone call with my friend, and she's like, "Shall we could do anything? What would it be?" And to my surprise, I said, "I want to paint." She's
wow. Like, "Okay."
I'm like, she's like, "Okay, if anybody could do it, Shelly could do it." Friends trust whatever I say.
Right.
Put me in any and everything, right? So my boyfriend at the time, well, my fiance at the time, he's so amazing. I told him that I wanted to paint, so he said, "Okay, what do you need?" I'm like, "I need a canvas and I need some paint." He's like, "Gonna paint?" I'm like, "No, I don't need a paintbrush because my hands were in a fist from the accident. I could not hold anything because it was so sensitive, it got burnt and the nerve got damaged."
Okay.
And so he's like, "Oh, so how are you going to paint?" I'm like, "Oh, with my knuckles." That's how it came about, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Over to the lake. because that's where I love, because the water to me, it's so healing.
Right.
I feel free that all of my problems could just wash away. And just to hear the sound of the waves is just so relaxing and so calming to me.
Right.
And so we went to the lake and I painted this painting.
Wow. Amazing. Back in 2012.
So he put the paint on the canvas,
Okay.
and then I just paint with it.
Amazing. Amazing.
And then so it was all his doing. And then gradually, over the next few years, because when I painted this painting, for me it was sort of like it was freeing, because I was able to create something and add color into my life where I could, because I've always felt this joy inside of me regardless of what I was going through. Like that's just my nature.
You're right.
Just a joyful, happy person regardless of whatever I'm facing.
Correct.
And finally I get to show colors, because all I saw with all I still saw then and all I still see now, it's only dark. So I wanted to fill my life, like at least if I'm adding colors, at least I know personally I'm adding colors.
Absolutely.
So that's why I chose painting. And since then I've spent countless hours. I remember spending at least 4 years in my studio.
Oh wow. Okay.
Learning how to paint.
Wow.
Trying to paintbrush, and I would spend 6 to 8 hours per day. So when you see the paintings from this,
right,
these, it's not just happened overnight. It was 4 years of 8 hours per day, 6 to 8 hours per day, and I'm talking including weekends. And in the night, I would listen to YouTube videos on how to paint.
Amazing.
So learn because keep in mind, before the accident, I couldn't even paint a stick figure.
Right.
So that's crazy.
It's just amazing, Shelly-Ann. I mean, I just wanted to, I don't know if the audience heard that Shelly-Ann was not painting before. She learned to paint and, did this afterwards. I mean, this is in itself a very, very inspirational message, Shelly-Ann. Back to you, sorry. And
the point that, and why I continue to paint, especially during those dark days, and keep in mind, I was painting with my knuckles. So my knuckles were bleeding. I was in pain from the accident.
Wow.
So that in itself was like, to get up and come down to the studio was something in its own. But I did that every day because my why was, and this is so vital in anything that we're doing, it's you have to have a strong why in what you want to accomplish in life. And my why was, if one person just sees my painting and get inspired to go after their dreams and goals and to know that there's no limitation, then you know what, it's all worth it.
Absolutely.
And that's where I've lived from, and that's who I have been for the past 14 years. It's that knowing that, you know what, whatever I put into these paintings, I'm putting my heart and soul into it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen what I painted, but I know every ounce of my energy is going into this painting.
Right.
And for me, like how I paint a painting is that painting, until it's finished, and it takes about 6 to 8 weeks to complete.
Wow.
And once it's completed, then I would know that then that painting, that picture in my head will just go away.
Right.
Until then, so I'm sleeping, everything. It's like I'm just engulfed in this painting.
Wow.
So I'd like to show you how I painted. That's okay?
Absolutely, Shelly-Ann. Yeah.
So for me, it's like every day we're giving a blank canvas. So it's up to us to decide how we're going to paint the painting, right? So we get to choose every day how we're going to paint our paintings. So we could choose setbacks, jealousy, hatred, fear, or we could choose love, peace, happiness. It's up to us. So this is a great reminder that we get to choose how we spend each day.
Right.
It's a gift. Like truly, it is a gift. So we have to learn, and more so over the pandemic, we learned that, you know what, life is short.
Right.
And we have to appreciate each and everything. So this is what I do with my painting. So before I start, I apply gesso to the painting, to the canvas, sorry. And then I'm not sure if you could see this or not, but I do have indication markers that I put at the middle of the canvas.
Okay.
2 edges. And at the bottom, so I could feel my way around the canvas, so I'd know where I am at all given times. So for me, there's different blind artists who use tack, they use different things, right? But for me, I use modeling paste.
Okay.
This handy dandy little thing here, this white paste here. So I love to paint mountains. For me, mountains represent strength, and it's just something that reminds me that, you know what, it's a journey that we need to climb each day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just to set up this. So this is my center point here. So I'm starting with the mountains.
Wow.
So you guys get the first hand on how I actually paint.
I know it's such an honor.
Thank you so much. So I use so my fingers are an indication. So it can get messy, but I do play with the mountain. So as you can see how it probably
beautiful.
So in most of my mountain paintings, you can see that there's the mountain, there's the pine trees, as well as there is a body of water.
Okay.
And the reason behind it, and there are birds as well, which for me represents freedom. And it all represents some sort of strength of overcoming and becoming.
Yeah.
So this is the mountains, how I painted it. And I would take much longer time to actually do part. So I have to let this dry before I start another part of the painting.
Correct.
What I've done, I've prepared another painting.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that process as well too. So this is one that I'm working.
Beautiful. Just look at that.
So these are the birds.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to work layer by layer. And even when I paint, I have to work layer by layer. So it's one color at a time. So that's why it takes such a long time to create.
Right.
So these are the birds. This is the mountain, and these are the pine trees.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to create the pine trees, this is how I actually create it. So it's all about feeling my way throughout the canvas.
Right.
So
Right.
witness, someone created an amazing product where I could actually use it to feel around the canvas.
Absolutely.
So, and once again, use whatever works for you. And I know many other visually impaired artists use different things, such as tack, strings, whatever they feel comfortable with. But for me, I get lost in every other thing. I move my hands away. So it's something where I could revisit after a while as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So to create the branches of the pine trees, I use the modeling paste.
Okay.
It's my little palette knife, and
Wow. Yeah, palette knife. That's the when we were talking earlier.
keep in mind, I have not gotten any training, so I might be doing this completely wrong, but this is the only thing that works for me right now.
No, it's perfect. We can totally see the texture of the pine trees, the mountains.
This is how it is. And so I repeat this process until I reach all the way down. But, do you have any questions for me, as?
For me, Shelly, and I was, like I was telling you earlier, I dabble with painting, but I've never used the palette knife because I always felt like I wouldn't know how to use it, because the palette knife always helps with texture. And I see you do it with so much ease. I'm so inspired now to actually experiment with the palette knife. I've always been scared, but I guess the question was a little technical. Is there a particular kind of paint you would need to use the palette knife? Like, could it be acrylic? Could it be any kind of
paint?
Okay.
And so this is how the texture of a painting would look like.
Just amazing. Look at that. And with reflection and everything.
Yeah. So these are just some of the paintings that I am currently working on.
Okay.
So this is another one.
Wow. Amazing. Just amazing.
Thank you so much. So it takes a few days for it to dry as well before I apply it.
Right.
So I'm not only working on one painting, I work on several at a time because 6 weeks to create one painting, right?
Right.
So how do I paint? this is a question that I get asked all the time. How do I know what color it is?
Right. Uh-huh.
Here you go. It's labeled.
Right. Right.
So I feel my
You can
weight.
feel it. Okay.
Yeah. And unfortunately, I didn't have the privilege of learning Braille because at the time when I lost my eyesight, my hands were in a fist. So I couldn't touch the Braille. And only about 4 years ago, I got back the use of both of my hands.
Oh wow. Okay.
Just recently. So a lot of my paintings were done with my hands in a fist. And at that time, what I used to do is put the paintbrush in my mouth and navigate through my hand and feel the other way. So that's what worked for me at the time. So this is where most of my painting was done and how it was done. So and how I paint actually. So once I get my paint over here, once I choose my paint, keep in mind one time, so it's not like if I don't mix up the colors, because sometimes if I'm in a rush, I feel the first two, so it could be black or blue.
Right. So you have to go to the third letter to know, what the color is. Yes.
That happens. So mistakes do happen, and you know what, we learn from them, and it's just we grow, right?
Absolutely.
So nothing is perfect. No one is perfect, and we all make mistakes.
Exactly.
So I have my paint here. Here I am here. So just show you, I picked a bright color, so at least you could see it on the camera.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I just feel my way across.
I love that.
And when I'm doing the pine trees, what I do, I normally add about 8 to 10 layers of paint to create that the pine trees, like different greens and yellows and gold. So it gives it that sheen that I have in my mind, that how I want it to look like.
Right.
So it will kind of look a little realistic. And especially like when you see the painting, like say for instance, you see a photo of the painting, and many of my clients have said this before, it's that you can see the painting and you can appreciate its beauty. But when you feel the painting, it gives you a different experience, because you can feel what I felt.
Right.
And I believe that we transfer energy into everything that we do, right? So that's one thing that you mentioned, that when you spoke to me on the phone, you could feel my energy.
Right.
And people could feel my energy. And actually, most of the times when I'm painting, well, 99% of the time, I do have chants playing as well too.
Oh, okay.
So it fills the room with positivity and all, like it's a high vibration. So it all goes back into the painting. So it's just not a painting. It's more of you're getting everything and anything that I put into it. Like it's just pure positivity. And that was my aim, is that when someone sees my painting, they can accomplish anything.
Yeah.
I recently purchased a painting. She's in Anchorage, Alaska. She bought the painting because she wants to open up a community center.
Okay.
And she said just by seeing the painting, it will inspire her to give up, to accomplish her goals. And just to hear clients saying that, you know what, they are inspired by my paintings, that to me, it means the world.
No, absolutely, Shelly-Ann. And I think, while you were saying this, I wanted to mention to the audience too, and I myself, I've been looking at your paintings, and I want to purchase one of these paintings that one can actually feel, like the tangible art. And it is a piece of Shelly-Ann, essentially, that's there in the painting. It's like you in the painting. And I want our audience to please check out Shelly-Ann's work. Shelly-Ann, please share your, social media handles or other places where our audience can check your paintings out. And I strongly encourage all of you to purchase the paintings, because it's more than a painting. She's really giving a piece of her positivity to us, and we all need that in this day and age. I'm so touched by this. I'm not able to say a lot because I'm so emotional at this time, like just watching you paint and listening to your story, Shelly-Ann. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you can reach me at Art by Shelly-Ann, and it's ARTBY, and Shelly-Ann, SHELLYANN. I'm on Etsy, Facebook, artbyshelly-ann.com. My full name, shellyansidu.com, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You name it, I'm there, Art by Shellyan.
Absolutely, and I'll also share all these on Sayat Saras and Artabilities, and I'm going to share it with all our folks. What an honor! My morning's already better just talking to you today and watching your painting. Thanks a ton.
Thank you so much for all that you do, for taking the time to share, for allowing me to share with your audience what it is that I do, that to paint, and also, you're spreading love all throughout the world. Because if one person is inspired, they're going to inspire another person, and keep this ripple effect. And honestly, thank you so much, Rajni, for all that you do to be who you are. And to put an event like this together, it's not easy. I have to thank you so much, because the hours that it takes to put in all these things, because even for us, we had to make so much calls and everything like that.
Right.
It's not easy to put an event like this together. So I want to take the time to appreciate you for all that you're doing, because without a person like you putting this together, we won't be able to share our journey. We won't be able to inspire others. We won't be able to be a part of community, because many people look at a person who is disabled and have this judgment that they cannot do anything. I remember walking on stage one time after someone read my bio, and you could hear the person, you could hear the room like that, like, oh my God, she's blind. Like, what could she say? After speaking, everyone was there lining up to give me a hug, and they wanted to be my friend. But it's like, we have to break down the barriers, and it's through people like you who believe in us.
Absolutely.
Platform where we can share our journey and our ability instead of our ability, what they have.
Absolutely.
Glass case.
Absolutely, Shellyan. And I know you and I spoke about that briefly the other day as well. While we're commemorating what the UN celebrates as World Disability Day, I think it's a celebration of abilities. I want to refer to this as World Abilities Day, because we are all people with varying abilities. And it should be a celebration of abilities of any kind. What a powerful and great message you shared with all of us. And thanks once again for sharing your work. I truly look forward to meeting with you in person sometime, either in Toronto, or I want to invite you to come to LA. Come spend some time with us, and we'll do something together as well, hopefully through Artabilities.
Anytime you're in Toronto, please come home. You have to come and see the studio. And
absolutely, I would love it.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for blessing me with the opportunity to be here today, to able to show you what I do.
Our pleasure and honor.
And I can't wait to give you a big hug.
Oh, likewise. We'll just give virtual hugs right now. Well, thank you, audience, again for supporting us and, watching Shellyan's beautiful message and her painting. Like I said, please check out all her social media handles. We'll be sharing it on our Artabilities and Sayat Saras pages. And, let's, purchase some of her paintings and, infuse some positivity in our lives. And more than anything else, I think your paintings are a great message. And, starting with me, I will be doing that as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Shellyan. Again, have a lovely day and stay in touch.
Definitely.
We'll catch you later. Bye. Bye, guys.
ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা মন দিন হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা মন দিন হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন জীবনে তো তোকে চাওয়া স্বপ্নে তোকে খোঁজা খুশি খুশি মনে সুরে ছোঁয়া গানে ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা দিনই হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন ছন্দ মিশে সুরে তালে তালে ছন্দে বাজে মন সে তারে বিভাগে মন বাঁধনে ও ছন্দ মিশে সুরে তালে তালে ছন্দে বাজে মন সে তারে বিভাগে মন বাঁধনে নতুন দিনে নিরালো কালো মুছে ফেলো সুরে সাজানো দিন আসবে ভোর রঙিন ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা দিনে হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন গানে গানে মনে তোর সাথে জীবনে শক্ত এ বাঁধনে রাখবো তোকে যত্নে ও গানে গানে মনে তোর সাথে জীবনে শক্ত এ বাঁধনে রাখবো তোকে যত্নে আগলে মন প্রেমে ভরা জীবন সুরে ছন্দে তোকে নিয়ে বাঁচি মনে ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা দিনে হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন জীবনে তোকে চাওয়া স্বপ্নে তোকে খোঁজা খুশি খুশি মনে সুরে ছোঁয়া গানে ছেঁড়া ছেঁড়া স্বপ্ন আঁকা আঁকা দিনই হয় দিন সাত সুরে রঙিন সুরার এতো গান যদি কোনোদিন থেমে যায় সেই দিন তুমিও তো জানি ভুলে যাবে যে আমার এতো সুরার এতো গান কতদিন আর জীবন কত কতদিন আর জীবন কত আর মন ভোলাবো তবুও তো পেয়েছি তোমার তবুও তো পেয়েছি তোমার